A.
Oh.
M
M,
A.
M, A.
M
M,
A.
A. Oh,
Wait.
M, A.
Wait.
What?
What?
That was...
What?
All right, Casey. Casey, when do we go live? Because that was a practice, right? So when do we actually when do we go live, Casey? Oh, wait. Why is my face on the screen? Oh my gosh, we're live now. Oh no, that was guys. Oh well, I love the music. I apologize to everyone for whatever else that was that Casey and I were doing. But hi guys, we're here. We got a UFC Vegas 30 preview show for you. It's just a two-man crew over here, plus all of you guys watching. Alexander K. Lee here, and of course, in the truck, and also my co-host today, Casey Leydon.
What's up? I'm here to talk mixed martial arts. The mixing of martial arts. That's what I'm here for.
Uh-huh.
I'm hyped. I'm pumped. You got the new music. We got some complaints, so it's like people want to get.
Who's complaining?
The people, the
About
fans.
What?
So
Complaining. Okay.
I know we got it. So I got a little email from the higher ups. They're like,
oh
Casey?
yes. Was it John Legend?
Yeah. Go. The
people
fans
don't know,
want more horns. Yeah.
John Legend is a member of the. Oh. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We should do the show.
We should go live anytime now. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, are we going live? Are we going live now?
Yeah. I think we're live now. Okay.
Okay,
And 3,
okay.
2, 1, and we
3,
are
2,
live.
Welcome everybody to the UFC Vegas 34 preview show with Alexander K. Lee and Casey Leydon. We got a lot to talk about here, Casey. We actually do. I know people are going to say, well, look, this is admittedly one of the more low wattage cards. Again, we've had a few fight nights that we've described this way recently, and most of them have turned out pretty good, or at least had 3 or 4 kind of surprising moments and highlights, things like that. So there's no reason to assume that Saturday's card can't be the same. And again, if you do a deep dive into it, there's some really nice competitive fights on here. Again, just one of those Vegas cards that isn't exactly dripping with star power and storylines, but that's fine. That's not why most of our fans watch these cards. We got the hardcores, we got the real fans, Casey. They don't need this over the top trash talk. They don't need these slick ESPN produced narratives to get into a card. They're knowledgeable, Casey. These are knowledgeable, respectful fans. So, right. First off, I want to say it is just the two of us today. Jose and Mike are enjoying some much needed time off. Jose never stops working. He works a friggin' 28-hour day somehow. And Mike, just finished. I hope you guys checked out on MMAfighting.com the amazing story of Eugene Aubrey. He poured his heart and soul into the story of this fighter who suffered this senseless act of violence. And now, hopefully, will fight someday. But he suffered severe injuries. But you guys can find that on MMAfighting.com. And plus, there's an interview with Eugene, which you can also watch, and there's an audio portion as well. So, MMA multimedia. Casey, that's a term I just. Well, I think I just.
Multimedia arts.
I may have just made that up.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone in the comments. It is not my birthday, but I wish it was. Let's start. It may as well be because we have ourselves. I think it was a pretty nice main event. It was not what was originally planned. This was booked some months ago as Jared Cannonier versus Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa withdrew for undisclosed reasons, as far as we know, and was once again replaced by Calvin Gastelum, who I think also replaced him against. Was it the? See, this is where we need Jose, but was it the Robert Whittaker fight? Right?
Wait, they took
yes. In April.
Start over.
So Calvin Gastelum is kind of Paulo Costa's understudy lately.
Oh yeah.
Paulo Costa was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker in April, and then he bowed out of that. Gastelum stepped in and lost a tough decision there. And then Jared Cannonier was supposed to fight Costa on Saturday, and he has been replaced by Gastelum. A little bit more notice this time, I think. It's about a little over 2 months. So it's not like it's like super short notice for Gastelum, but it wasn't what was originally planned. Considering what we should have had, Casey, considering what we would have had Costa Cannonier, how excited are you for this matchup, relatively speaking?
It's a fight between two top. I'll go, borderline top 5 Well, is Kelvin? What do we have Kelvin at on our rankings?
We have Kelvin, I believe, in the global rankings. I think he's at 13.
Really, that low?
12. Excuse me, 12. Cannonier is 7.
Okay, I think I was trying to sell this a little better. I was like, oh, 2 top 5 fighters, but not in our rankings.
I think, look, our rankings are pretty far encompassing. Obviously we've got Musasi in there taking up a top 5 spot.
But Musasi is the only non-UFC guy in there, so
he is.
Yeah,
that's correct. That's correct.
So really, it still is UFC rankings. I mean, so it's a fight, and it's. What, both guys coming off losses, correct? Cannonier, yeah.
Both guys are coming off losses. You are correct.
Bad, and Cannonier both
to Robert Whitaker. Actually, yeah. This is the Robert Whitaker consolation sweep prize right here.
So I guess this fight, as far as stakes, we get to find out who the third best middleweight is, maybe in the UFC.
Sure. I mean, well, would you elevate either guy over Costa?
That's why I said maybe. That's why I said maybe.
Yeah.
I mean. Whoever wins this can claim that they're the third best middleweight, I would think. They can say it. I mean, maybe regardless of rankings. I mean, I know you have Vettori and Brunson and all those other gentlemen, and there's still Hermanson, Darren Till, got Sean Strickland coming up too. But I don't know. It's a fight night. UFC puts lots of cards out there, and we can't. Every main event can't be, the winner's gonna fight for the title. Not unfortunately, but it's just how it is in this fight. It's just 2 good middleweights who haven't fought each other yet, and both coming off losses, and both need to kind of remind people why we thought they were so freaking awesome in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not a number 1 contenders fight by any unless we're talking about, again, keeping themselves on a short list and a bunch of guys in front of them for whatever can't compete. Highly unlikely this is a number 1 contenders fight. It's probably not even a number 2 contenders fight. Like it doesn't even get them like that one step behind a number 1 contender.
Yeah.
And again, I always tell people that's fine. We want a little more, I guess, intrigue out of our main events. But like you said, it's a good fight on paper. We can kind of go to our predictions here, Casey, while discussing the fight, because I think that's really the only storyline going into it. There's not like a lot of heat between the 2 guys. So I just think this is a really tough fight for Kelvin to win, because we're talking about a guy in Cannonier who used to be a heavyweight, and Gastelum who's could, in the best of circumstances, could probably make welterweight, or at least did once upon a time. So he's going to be the smaller guy, and an issue with him at 185 since he's gone there.
But he's always been the smaller guy at 85. So
he's always going to be the smaller guy. So I mean, do you like his? Well, let me ask you this: how does Gastelum win this? Best case scenario for Gastelum.
I think it's just gonna have to. Man, the problem with Cannonier is like at middleweight. Who's he beating at middleweight? You got David Branch, beat up David Branch pretty well. Anderson Silva, which was whatever you want to call it, and Jack Hermanson fight, which he pretty much dominated and then finished in the second round. Now, okay, I'm kind of remembering that fight now.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know. Like I think Kelvin's just got to be a lot of pressure on him, and eventually use his wrestling, but just be like a lot of high pressure boxing, and just keep being the smaller fighter, just stay inside. And if and once Cannonier kind of opens up and gets too wild, Kelvin needs to take him down and put Cannonier on his back and really tire him out. Cannonier, as far as I remember, isn't really known for the greatest gas tank, but he hasn't really needed it because he kind of just overwhelms and just uses his kind of just brute striking power to finish opponents kind of midway through the fight. So I mean, this is really a pick and fight for me. I don't really, because Cannonier has been out for a while. Like I haven't really seen him enough at middleweight to really kind of, for him to be really consistent enough to give it a really solid gauge on how he's going to perform. But looks like he made weight fine. We'll talk about Kelvin's kind of weight miss or not weight miss later. But I am going to pick Kelvin. I think he'll win a solid decision. I think he'll win a solid decision.
Okay,
I don't think Cannonier's going to. I think Kelvin's going to be able to withstand the big shots from Cannonier and just outlast him. And Kelvin, I think, just has more experience at main events and kind of high level middleweight fights.
Okay, so well, I was presenting it as a hypothetical, but you actually are leaning towards Gastelum. He's has, like you said, more experience against a higher level of competition. Again, for Cannonier, like I said, there's the Hermanson fight, probably his best win at 185, depending how people regard the David Branch fight, and Anderson Silva, obviously a bit past his prime, still a quality win,
Quality win,
but I get it, not the same as going 5 competitive rounds with Israel Adesanya. Knocking out like a Michael Bisping, beating Jacare, not quite on that level, which I think is fair to say. I'm definitely leaning heavily towards Cannonier. The official odds are pretty close. Cannonier, slight favorite, about minus 145. I'm just looking at Tapology.com here, and the people on Tapology are pretty heavily, well, not heavily, but pretty clearly in favor of Cannonier. 64% for Cannonier, including 51% who think he'll win by strikes, and 36% for Gastelum, and most people thinking his best chance is by a decision, which I agree. I think if Gastelum wins, it'll be a decision. Cannonier, I think he can win a decision too. I just don't know if he can knock Gastelum out. Gastelum is so tough.
But you see Cannonier going 25 minutes?
I don't know. That's the thing, is we don't know. Like you mentioned,
honestly, if this was a 3-round fight, I would much heavily be on Cannonier side of winning. But over 25 minutes, I just think Gaps. I'm assuming both guys are coming in healthy and had the best camp ever. I think experience in 5-round fights is gonna pay off better for Gastelum, even though he's lost a lot of 5-round fights. But I still think it matters.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Cannonier's record here. He has won 5-round fight. This was probably as a heavyweight. This was a long time ago. This was against the inimitable Tony Lopez, one of many who has fought Tony Lopez. He won a split decision. He went all 5 rounds. So
Cannonier fought Tony Lopez?
Cannonier has at heavyweight. I assume. It could have been light heavyweight too.
What organization was this? Like
Alaska Fighting Championship.
Yes.
Of course. Oh, it doesn't say what weight it was. That's interesting. Okay.
If it was pre-UFC, it was definitely a heavyweight. It was
heavyweight. Okay.
Yeah. And
Tony Lopez
is always pretty much a heavyweight now.
Yeah.
Tony Lopez, by the way, one of my favorite fighters ever.
I said inimitable. There's really nobody like him. There's nobody like him. Nobody's had a career like him. But yeah, so he has gone 5 rounds, but it was at heavyweight, which is a totally different thing. And there's a big difference between the pressure that a Tony Lopez can put on you and the pressure that a Kelvin Gastelum can put on you. Again, I always bring up the Israel Adesanya fight where, man, that fight is just a case of a guy who's so tough and so aggressive and a gas tank that never stops, that he could take the champion, to the distance like that. So,
I mean, and that fight was up for grabs coming into the 5th round, right? It was 2-2.
I think so. Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
I think it's just insane how Kelvin. It almost feels like Kelvin. That loss was a lot like when, say, Rory McDonald lost to Robbie Lawler. It's just like, even though that was an incredible, one of the best fights ever, like we kind of say that Roy McDonald really never came back from that fight, and I feel like as fans we think that a lot. We think that way of Kelvin too. Like Kelvin, one of the best title fights ever, but I don't think people still see Kelvin as like a guy. If he fought Izzy tomorrow, he would be, he would have a good chance of winning. I think Izzy's just much better, and Kelvin has either the same or regressed a bit from that just vicious fight he was in.
If I asked you how old Kelvin Gastelum was, what would you say off the top of your head?
32.
He's only 29 years old.
He's not even in his prime.
He is not even his prime. Yeah, he's entering his prime.
Yeah, he's just about getting his prime, and we wow.
I know.
Yeah, and we talk about him as if he's at like so much wear in the tires and stuff, and
he's been in the UFC for a long time.
Yeah, he kind of has that Jose Aldo thing in a sense that Jose's what? How old is Aldo?
Aldo like 30 is like 31.
Yeah,
35, 30. It's crazy. Yeah.
Which means that when I first saw him fight, he was like 12 or something. I don't know.
Right. I mean, Gastelum at the time was the youngest American ever on The Ultimate Fighter. I think he was 19 or 20 when he was on the John Jones Sonnen season. So it makes sense. We have seen him compete for almost 10 years. So yeah, he was 19, 20 then, he's 29 now. So the math adds up. It just feels so much longer, I think, in our heads when we think about it.
Yeah, because like when we see these guys coming to the UFC, depending who they are, sometimes they come to UFC when they're 19, sometimes they're 20, sometimes they're 30, they're 33, so yeah, I think we just, in our heads, we just kind of give them an age right when they start, maybe mid-20s. I don't know. Yeah.
Keep in mind, he's also fought 19 times for the UFC. So again, if it feels like Kelvin Gastelum has been around for a while, Kelvin Gastelum has been around for a while.
Yeah.
We mentioned the quality of competition, Casey. If he loses on Saturday, it'll be his second straight loss. 5 losses in 6 appearances. Yes, to nothing but the best, nothing but top 10, top 15 ranked guys. I don't think he can go back down to 170. He almost missed. Well, we say he almost missed. He didn't really almost miss, but he kind of gave people concern. He needed a little bit of extra time to make to cut a quarter of a pound. But either way, it does feel like he's probably never going back to 170. It only gets harder as you get older. And if he can't do it, Casey, if he loses on Saturday, is there any chance that he gets released?
No, zero chance. Zero chance.
Zero chance.
Zero chance. Yeah, zero chance. I think the UFC's just invested too much into him and he's still as far as I know, he doesn't get paid a lot of money. Like when guys like Overeem got cut and even JDS got cut, they didn't get cut because they sucked or whatever. They can't hang with UFC heavyweights. They got cut because of money reasons. UFC didn't feel they were worth the price tag for how good they were. And I don't think Kelvin's in that Overeem type of non-champion type of pay scale. So he'll stick around. So I'm not worried. Both guys are around.
Yeah.
And also with Bellator, the UFC's main competitor, sure. I think Bellator is so desperate for middleweights right now to fight Mousasi that if Kelvin's actually a free agent, maybe he could take a better deal with Bellator. But as far as UFC just releasing him, I'm very doubtful on that.
Yeah, another name you mentioned, the Overeem, is in there as well. Jacare also was a guy who came over from Strikeforce, who I think was always a big ticket item from the first day he came to the UFC, and again was worth it for a while. And then once the results stopped showing up, the UFC had just did the math. And Kelvin Gastelum, definitely the reputation of a company.
And Jacare is 41, and Kelvin's not even 30.
29, right?
Yeah,
I wish he could make it back down to 170. We hate encouraging extreme weight cutting here. So that's something that's not healthy for him. Obviously, I don't want to see it at all. But it has always felt like he could be a real. I mean, he was and could still be a real competitor at 170 if he could make it. But it just doesn't seem likely.
And I think that's we're not trying to push extreme weight cutting like you said, but I think for him to make 170, I think it's just too much of a lifestyle change. Honestly, that he just doesn't think it's worth it for his own personal happiness. So dude, Kelvin's still a top-ranked fighter at middleweight, and we're complaining like, dude, you're being
Look, listen, Gastelum, if you're happy and you're making good money, don't even worry. Don't worry about what us couch potatoes have to say. All right, if it's your world, as long as like whatever happens on Saturday, if he still has job security, he's still at the UFC, still casting checks, don't worry about it. Championships are great, but like you said, if the lifestyle change is too much for him, just do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Chris in China in the comments says Casey looks much better without the hat. Handsome dude. I actually didn't even know. This is how observant I am. I noticed something was different, but I was like, I just couldn't put my finger on it. And you're not wearing a hat, which seems pretty obvious.
Thanks.
Middle of nowhere radio. I'm sorry, correct. He said they're saying Jose Aldo's 34, which again still seems young.
Yeah.
Given, because I think it was compared to like Pedro Munoz, where like, they're like 2 days apart, and like we just think I was always thinking of Jose Aldo as like so much older, and I think Pedro Munoz is like two days older than him, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. All right, we've spoken about the main event. Again, great fight, good fight on paper.
It's a good fight.
Storyline wise, whatever. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Casey, because again, we've sort of joked about how this isn't one of the more high-profile cards. You do know what the co-main event is, right?
Okay, is the lineup on Tapology? Is that the real lineup? Because it looks
Okay, you're
off.
looking at it now. Yes. Okay. That is the real lineup. Why
That
don't
is
you tell people? Why don't you tell people who are not aware what the co-main event of this card is?
the co-main event is the Carpenter Clay Guida
Hmm.
versus Mark O. Madsen.
Yes.
I don't know if he has a nickname. Does he have a nickname?
I don't think so.
Maybe it's O.
I'm seeing on
Oh,
Wikipedia
the Olympian. That's it.
the Olympian. Oh, that's on Tapology too. I guess that's official. Yikes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what? When you're an Olympian, you should you can do whatever you want.
Oh, can we
He is
wait real quick
a
before we talk about
okay.
Mark O, the
Please.
Olympian Madsen? Dude, his
Uh-huh.
middle name is awesome. Ovengard.
What is it? Ovengard.
Overgard. Overgaard. I'm
He
Overgard.
should go by. He should go by like Mark Overgard or Overgard Madsen. Right?
That is a way cooler name than Mark.
That was so cool.
Mark. Hi, I'm Mark.
Oh,
Hi,
the
I'm
Olympian Overgard.
I'm Overgard. That sounds badass. I'm changing my pick.
It's like imagine being like, hey, my name's Mark Ramondi. Just sorry, I shouldn't have even. It was horrible just saying it.
Mark
can't imagine
Ramondi from ESPN.
I can't imagine someone having to like say that in real life like constantly. Oh God, horrible.
I am Overgard.
Listen, I am Overgard Madsen. Mark O. Madsen. First of all, let's be clear. He is not. His last name is not O. Madsen, as he's been called. He was called many times by Joe Rogan. I think the last time he fought. It's Matt. His last name is Madsen. His middle initial is O. He's not an Irishman. He is from. He is Danish. He's from Denmark. He won a silver medal for his country. So it's Mark. So just call him Mark Madsen or Mark O. Madsen or just Madsen.
Or Overgard. Is it how do you say it?
Overgard.
Get
Overgard.
Anik on the line. Get Anik.
I would say Overgard.
Overgard, all right.
Yeah, like Overeem. But
Okay, Overgard. Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go. It's a bit of an eyebrow raiser of a co-main event. Now, Clay Guida has headlined many fight nights back in the. I shouldn't say many, several fight nights back in the day. If this was 7 or 8 years ago, no one would bat an eye at seeing Clay Guida at the top of a fight night or Vegas card, whatever we're calling these things now. But now it's a little peculiar. And this isn't a fight that was bumped up, I don't think, because they lost another fight, if I'm not mistaken. I think this has been scheduled as the co-main event for some time. If you look at the rest of the card, there's maybe a flyweight fight, which we'll talk about more later, that probably could have been the co-main, but it also makes sense as a good kind of early card, like sweetener. So I understand. Clay Guida, a very well-known, established, respected name. Marco Madsen, as we said, undefeated fighter and an Olympian. So there's, he has that going for him. So it's
and he's coming off some injuries, right? That's why he's been out for a bit.
I think so. He has not competed. Yeah, he has not competed since last March. So it's been March of last year. I'm sorry, I should say March of last year.
Yeah, so I think COVID, injuries, travel restrictions. That's why he's been out for a little bit.
He's from I shouldn't even try and say this. Nykøbing, Denmark. I apologize for all the Danish people out there. My man Toke Girding Jensen, if you're out there, you can give me a slap on social media for butchering that. But yeah, 10-0, 2-0 in the UFC versus a man who is not 2-0 in the UFC, Clay Guida, who will be making his 31st UFC appearance. He is 16-14, his 57th pro fight. 57th pro fight, 31st UFC appearance. Casey, give me your thoughts on this main event, man.
It's an odd co-main event. Let me just say that, but it seems to be it should be a showcase fight for Mr. O. Madsen. Yeah, I just did the O. Madsen.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, Mr. Madsen.
Overcard.
It feels to be a showcase fight. It seems to be UFC matchmakers see something in Madsen that they like, and style-wise, I think they think that they could. Okay, back Clay Guida real quick. I know he's a very popular fighter, but as far as in-cage entertainment, Clay Guida's most exciting fights are when he loses, actually. His actual wins are kind of, they can be grindy. I mean, that's mixed martial arts. That's how you fight. You got to do what you got to do to win. I'm not criticizing it, but I'm just in the entertainment value. When Clay Guida wins, it's kind of, grindy. So I think that for the UFC, they're thinking Madsen can really nullify Guida's grindy mixed martial arts wrestling, and probably I would assume Madsen would just actually put Guida on his back and probably finish with ground and pound or some sort of submission. And Guida has been submitted quite a few times once he gets taken down. So I'm picking Mr. Olympian Madsen to I would say third round submission. I think it's gonna be pretty dominant.
Third round submission. Yeah. I was going to say, Guida has submitted many, many times in his career, so that would not be an uncommon thing. Guys, I'm just thinking what time this is going to air in Denmark. I'm a little bit curious. Denmark is Copenhagen time anyway. 6 hours ahead of us. So this card, this is a normal Vegas-timed card, I believe. So this will be on in the wee hours of the morning in Denmark. So I'm really trying to wrap my head around this booking. I think you're right. It's sort of let's give this prospect, a bump. And again, at some point they have to book him. They're not going overseas anytime soon. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who they like. I think they would be invested in.
Realize you just called a 36-year-old man a prospect.
He's 36-year-old young.
36-year-old young.
Yeah, 36 years young. 36 years young.
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about ages of fighters. Mm-hmm. Mark O. Madsen is a 36-year-old young prospect, and then Kelvin Gastelum is
washed.
Is washed, and he's not even 30. So
it's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
So the odds right now, Madsen really not a huge favorite, -165 according to Topology. So you would think if he is someone they're trying to build up, he's not a 2-1 favorite. He's certainly favored, but not by a huge margin. Topology community, on the other hand, is favoring Madsen by a huge margin. 84% picking Madsen with 76% by decision. So, most people are expecting, as you said, to withstand the pressure, block the rest, neutralize the wrestling of Guida, and pull away in the third or finish in the third. I agree. I'm going to go decision. I'm going to go with the majority here. That's what I tend to do. I like the group think, so I do think Madsen by decision. But it is tough. This Guida still has endless cardio, so we'll have to see if Madsen can keep that pace. It is a funky matchup. But just gosh, Clay Guida in a co-main event, Casey, in the year of our Lord 2021.
This is really interesting matchup though for Guida, because Guida's at the point of his career, and I think the UFC is kind of shifting how they use him, because previously, I felt like he's been used more as kind of veteran versus veteran. He fights other veterans. He fought Bobby Green, Michael Johnson,
Jim Miller,
BJ Penn,
that's
Joe
it. Last 4
Lazon,
fights. Joe Lazon.
He doesn't fight like young prospects. Well, he did fight Brian Ortega. This is UFC 99, so I think it was Ortega's second fight.
That's literally 5 years ago. You're right. Since then, they've definitely gone a different direction with. Since he went back to lightweight. It's just been veterans.
So this is interesting that the way UFC is booking Guida, and this actually makes more sense. I don't think he thinks he's going to be a title contender soon, but I just think he enjoys fighting. The UFC fans like him. He can throw him in any card, and he builds up. He's a really good opponent. He'll put a good fight up. He'll make Madsen. Jeez, he'll make Madsen work hard.
I shouldn't have even said it.
Yeah, I know. He'll make Madsen work hard. But Madsen will eventually get the victory. And somehow Clay Guida does win. Holy moly! I don't know. That'll be another conversation. If Clay Guida can do this and actually somehow out wrestle and nullify Madsen's wrestling and win somehow, which only 16% of the Topology fans think he can do, it'd be really interesting.
Well, I mean, look, I suddenly had this image of him outlasting Madsen and then getting a third round submission, which is certainly possible. But it's not a bad co-main event for a free card. This card will be, by the way, on main card ESPN Plus, prelims ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Casey, let's just touch upon the rest of this main card here. Heavyweight Chase Sherman, Parker Porter, fun matchup. Lightweights Vince Pichel and Austin Hubbard.
But Chase Sherman and Parker Porter is going to be the best fight in the card. We know that.
Whoa, hold on.
I know there's a great fight lower in the card. It's going to be the best fight. It'll be the most entertaining fight. How about that? Sherman and Porter will be the most entertaining fight.
I can't wait for the world of ESPN viewers to meet Parker Porter because he's a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight looking heavyweight. Trevin Jones, one of my favorite matchups. I like this matchup. So Trevin Jones and let me see if I can say this one right.
Ooh, go for it.
Saeed Yakub Kakramanov. Close. It's. I think I'm close. I know I didn't nail it. I'll go with Saeed for now. Trevin Jones and Saeed. I like this because it's one of those mutant matchups. This was originally another fight entirely. This was Mana Martinez versus Jesse Strader at first. Strader withdrew and was replaced by Jones, and then Martinez withdrew and was replaced by Saeed. So I like that. I always like that, and it somehow just kept its spot on the card, and it's just like, or he bumped up. I think I'm not even sure.
Okay, what do you know about Mr. Oh boy,
Saeed. It's just Saeed. I'm saying Saeed for now.
Saeed.
I don't think I'm nailing the last name.
He's a UFC debutant. So what do you know about him? I know nothing, to be honest.
So he, for one thing, he missed weight. Unfortunately,
Bummer.
Yes, 2.5 pounds. But again, he was just reported as taking this fight like 4 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
it's definitely less than a week's notice. I'm not sure exactly how much time, but it cannot be longer than a week. You may actually remember him vaguely, Casey, from his one-off with the PFL. He was brought in to be Umar Nurmagomedov's opponent when they were doing a kind of a showcase fight for Umar. So Saeed was the other side. You might remember Umar more, Saeed not so much. And he's coming off he's actually the Cage Fury Fighting Championship bantamweight champion. He beat Tyson Lin by second round knockout. So he has some credentials. He's an experienced guy. He has a win over Askar, if you remember him, who I think is no longer with UFC. Yeah, they parted ways under some strange circumstances. But so he's fought quality competition. He's fought UFC quality. He fought again a guy in Umar who's a top prospect. And I think they actually has some degree of like hype behind him. I don't think it's necessarily like a layup fight for Trevin Jones. It's just kind of a weird timing, but certainly watch. And look, it's bantamweight. I know I missed it. There's a bantamweight division, guys, and you can't go wrong with bantamweights.
I like what Joseph Bosa said. Due to the short notice nature of the fight, it's too bad they don't. We just talked about extreme weight cutting. I don't know the specifics on this gentleman, but usually if you come in on less than a week's notice, you're not gonna make weight, especially at these under 55 weight classes. So hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, look, managers and the UFC and fighters, when these things happen, everyone should be suggesting a catch weight. Just suggest catch. Why would either fighter have a problem with this? The guy who's coming in on short notice, obviously it's a lot easier for him. You're telling the guy who's Trevin Jones also coming in on short notice, by the way, just less short notice, longer notice. Longer is the word I think people use.
Longer shorter notice. Is that what you're saying?
Longer, shorter words. Really. Longer notice, and why would he want to have to cut an extra 3-4 pounds if he doesn't have to? It's just so strange. Like I think people should get more creative with these things, and just make things easier for guys. Because now this guy who's again theoretically doing a favor for the UFC and for Trevin Jones has to pay 20% of his purse, which Trevin Jones probably happy about. And now that I've said it, now I guess I realize why maybe this is why he wanted to keep it at 135. He knew he could make it, and thought his opponent might not, and get that extra 20. This sounds so sick. Just pay the fighters more. This is how we end every. I know this is how we end every preview show. It's just pay the fighters more. But we're just gonna say it until it happens. So
we still haven't ended the show saying, you know what, this fighter got paid too much. That hasn't happened yet. We're like, I don't know.
We haven't even done. What I really want to say about this card is everyone got paid just right.
Just right.
UFC, Dana White, you nailed it with the salaries on this one. Perfect. Casey, you said you're looking forward to the heavyweight fight. I said there's just the main card. Lightweight, Vince Pichel facing Austin Hubbard. Pichel's a bit of a prospect killer. They kind of throw young guys at him sometimes, and he's really tough to beat. So that's a fun one.
Yeah.
And then I think this is opening the card according to the ESPN schedule. Alexandre Pantoja and Brandon Royval. That is the number 7 flyweight in Pantoja versus Royval, number 9. Casey, how are you not looking? How is this not your second most anticipated fight of the night?
No, this is the best fight in the card.
Okay.
Okay. I'm looking at our rankings real quick. Where are they ranked on our rankings?
So Pantoja 7, Royval 9.
Yeah, what I was saying, yeah, like this fight, honestly, in terms of ranking wise, and in terms of what it means to the division, this actually should be the main event. But they're flyweights, and the
Yeah,
UFC is, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't understand. I'm confused why this fight's so low in the card. It seems to be a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy for the UFC, saying, "Oh, no one likes flyweights. No one likes flyweights." Well, you don't feature them on the They're not on the poster. They're not even the co-main event. If this is the co-main event, okay, I get Kelvin is a bigger name fighter, even though ranking wise they're behind this flyweight fight. But this flyweight fight should be the main event. At worst, it should be the co-main event. I have no idea why it's so low in the card. But this fight rules. Pantoja's awesome. Is this Pantoja's first fight after the Cape win, or is he?
Yeah, the win over Cape. It's funny. He's really like a top 5 flyweight. It's only because he lost like Askarov. Askarov took his spot. I'm trying to think who else he'd be behind. I think in our rankings he might still be behind Joe. I really should take a look at these. MMAfighting.com global rankings. I think he's still behind Joe B, though I don't know. That's definitely not a unanimous thing. I feel like some of us are ranking him, including me. I think might be ranking him still high, Benavidez, and that might be skewing why he's above Pantoja. Because I mean, if we're going just kind of by recent results, Pantoja probably has been the more successful fighter. And of course, most importantly, I'm sure as many people know, he has beaten Brandon Moreno twice. And convincingly. He submitted him on The Ultimate Fighter, so not an official win, but I mean, it's a fight. It's still a fight that happened. And then when they fought again in the UFC, he beat him convincingly. I think he swept the scorecards. So he has 2 wins over the current flyweight champion, excuse me. And I think it would really be a shame not to see him get that title shot someday. But boy, Brandon Royval, that's a dangerous fight to take. This is not a, I'm just going to beat this guy and get my title shot. Brandon Royval could really mess up Pantoja's plans to get that third fight with Moreno.
Dude, I love watching Brandon Royval fight. Man, he is a scrappy, exciting scrambler guy.
He's like real good
everywhere. He's he's one of those guys. If you saw him walking down the street, he's just like just some dude. But like, it's like he doesn't look the part. He's just some skinny kid. And
then you find out his name is Raw Dog, and you're just like, ugh. What one of the worst nicknames in MMA. I don't care. I love Brandon Royval. I love watching him fight. That's one of the worst nicknames, and I will not go. I stand by that.
What's Pantoja's nickname? What's his nickname?
I don't think he has one.
That's what I mean. So. Raw Dog wins by default. It wins by default.
Better to have one than none. I'm the opposite. Better to have none. Oh no.
Oh no. He's the cannibal.
He's a
Raw Dog versus the cannibal.
Oh, the cannibal is so much better. It's so much better. Come on. What are we talking?
Really, eating humans is better than Raw Dog. A person that I'm gonna feed on human flesh. That's
then.
You're a sicko.
Raw dog and any other implications that the phrase raw dog may have. Yes, it is better.
I don't know what you're talking about, AK.
It's not important. Don't worry about it. This show's for the children.
Okay, I'm gonna look up raw dog on my incognito window real quick and see what comes up.
I'm gonna run down the prelims really quick. We're going pretty long here. I'm gonna run down the prelims really quickly. No, it's fine. And Casey, if any of these names or matchups jump out to you, please stop me. We got a featherweight bout: Austin Lingo versus Luis Saldana. Austin Lingo coming off a win. I'm still waiting for this guy to show the potential he had before he got signed to the UFC. And look for Austin Lingo. I think his LFA's appearances. He smoked like 3 straight opponents, and I think like 50 seconds combined. It was an insane run. Bantamweight, a friend of the MMA fighting, Brian Kelleher, taking on the very tough Domingo Pilarte, Contender Series guy. We have a women's bantamweight matchup. These aren't that common these days. Bea Malecki coming back from a long layoff to fight the debuting Josiane Nunez. Light heavyweights William Knight and Fabio Charant. If Mike Heck were here, he would say New England zone, Fabio Charant. Lightweight Roosevelt Roberts, way too far down on the card. Why is he so down low? Roosevelt Roberts and Ignacio Bahamondes, one of the best names in MMA. And welterweight bout between Sasha Palatnikov, a man of many nations, and another LFA veteran, Ramiz Brahimaj. So, listen, Casey, listen. I can see the people on the other side of this. People, I can see you kind of raising your eyebrows to a lot of those names. Who are these guys? And yes, a lot of them are either newcomers fighting in maybe their third or fourth UFC appearance, but that's okay. Like I said, any of these guys could be fan favorites tomorrow. So I always implore people to check out the prelims. But I totally don't blame people, Casey, if they pass in some of these fights. It's again low on star power. I noticed you didn't jump in on any of those names.
I mean, I'm always excited to see Mr. Kelleher fight.
Yes, bantamweights again.
Yeah, he's bantamweight. He's always an exciting fighter. I don't know, but unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but this is a lot of debutantes, a lot of contender series LFA guys coming up. I just don't know very much about him. Bay Maleki, is this her first time in the UFC?
No, this is actually her third. I believe this is her third fight. Again, it's been a long time.
She's only 2-0. It's her third fight.
She's 3-0 as a pro. She's 2-0 in the UFC.
She actually made her professional debut in the UFC.
No. She had one win before the UFC. I believe.
Really?
I believe she had one win before the UFC.
I mean, unless Tapology is wrong.
Tapology is wrong on this one. I think. Yeah, I see. They say. I think Sherdog has her 3-0. Normally, I defer to. Oh, Sherdog has her 4-0. So I don't know where I'm getting my 3-0 from. Maybe from UFC.com. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
So Sherdog has her. Yeah. So anyway, let's put it this way. Her experience is so limited. The databases haven't even quite gathered the data yet. So at best 4-0, at worst is made her pro debut. Oh, I see. Because Tapology is registering some of those amateur bouts. Sherdog has them as pro bouts. So okay. So she so five or six fights in total between amateur and pro. We're just not sure which ones are pro, but yeah, she came off the Ultimate Fighter season as a 145er, which of course was just filled with really bantamweights who were competing at 145 for the show.
This is a bantamweight.
Yes, this is a bantamweight, and she beat Veronica Macedo, so that's good. Veronica Macedo and Santana, Duda Santana. She's very talented striker fighter. I actually think this fight could be really, really fun. Josiane Nunez is also a pretty exciting stand-up fighter. You guys can find. I think we covered her once in Miss Fist. So if you guys want to see a little bit of that, just go ahead and MMA Fighting. Look up Josiane Nunez. It's one of the only articles that'll pop up probably. So I actually think that is a sleeper. I think that's a sleeper fight.
I hope it is, because the UFC
really
is so desperate for new women bantamweights.
Yes,
that is from what used to be in the Ronda Rousey era, like UFC female bantamweights used to headline pay-per-views, and now it's just kind of this forgotten division once Ronda left. Even though
it's a forgotten belt.
It's
the
belt has
been forgotten.
It's a forgotten belt. It's such a forgotten belt. It hasn't been defended in over a year and a half, and it probably won't be defended for another few months. And yet no one's going, oh, we need an interim. It's like, whatever. No one even cares.
Yeah, that's the strangest.
No one even cares.
Why no?
It's apples and oranges. As Dana White told me, it's apples and oranges.
Dana White says. All right, guys. Well, look, again, we've gone pretty long here. But I will say, Maleki Nunez, I do think it's a fun fight. Nunez finally getting to debut. She was actually supposed to debut in April. I don't know if you remember, and Zerafan dos Santos missed weight. So unfortunately for Nunez, she had her fight delayed. But delayed. So there is some hype around her. And again, we said Maleki, undefeated as a pro, 2-0 or 4-0, we're not sure. So yeah, look for that one to be a sleeper on this card. That's on the prelims, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, guys, and the main card, ESPN Plus. Casey, I think we got a wrap here. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna have a Q&A tomorrow. Sorry, guys, I apologize for not being sure about that. I think we can deliver one, even if it's just Casey and I again. But we will let you know. Yeah, keep your eyes, guys, of course, on the MMAfighting.com, Twitter. Yes.
So
Facebook.
We did get a lot of questions, a few comments and stuff. Come back tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna. You know what? I'm not hedging. We are gonna do a Q&A tomorrow. Yeah. Whether it's just me and Casey, or if Mike is here or anyone else is here, we will give you guys a Q&A. We will answer your questions. You listen to us blather long enough about UFC Vegas 34. We said a card that was pretty short on storylines, but glad you were here to. We're all here to listen to us and leave your comment. We will get to them more tomorrow. Yes, join us before the show, which will start at
30 minutes before the first
30 minutes. We will be around 30 minutes before the first fight. I think the card starts at 4. No, 7. Oh my goodness, one of those cards. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 7. Oh gosh. So guys, we'll be around 3:30 Pacific time, 6:30 Eastern time on the MMA Fighting YouTube. You'll see it go out on Twitter if you guys are on that. And then fights start at 7, and the main card starts at 10. 6-fight main card. You guys can get about 12:30 Sunday morning. You'll get to watch Calvin Gastelum and Jared Cannonier walk out. So I cannot wait, and I know you guys.
That's why they put that flyweight early, because they knew people are sleepyheads. So they put the real main event as the opening fight in the main card. There you go.
Well done.
You UFC, you Hunter Campbell dude. You're smart. You're smart. I get it.
Well done, UFC, ESPN. Well done. Thank you guys for joining us. And so for Casey Leydon and for myself, Alexander K. Lee, we is out.
We is out.
We is out. Oh, someone said Bellator, BKFC tonight.
Oh,
Bellator.
Yeah. Watch everything. Yeah.
Check Congo and Sergey Karatanov.